So the first thing we are going to cover today is the Jira board. This is the Jira board that I've created for our class. And on this Jira board, we are going to use this Jira board to track all the tasks and assignments that you guys will complete on your own. I am using the free version of this Jira board. And it is limited to 10 users. So the idea I have is that you guys can create an email for your team, send that email to me, and I would add your team as a user on the Jira board. So that way, any member of your team can come on the Jira board, create an issue for whatever task you guys are working on. And also you guys can track your issue, add comments, and just play around with it so you can follow the steps as a cloud engineer, how to move your tasks from to do to in progress to in review and done. So when you start working, the Jira board you will see is very identical to this, where you have your sprint, and your sprint will be either based on most team sprint is always 2 weeks. So that is for the particular task we are working on now. How long do you have to complete it? And in that sprint, for whatever task you are working on, you will have the opportunity to move them from one stage to another stage based on the progress you've made on that task. So it is pretty straightforward. Okay, once you guys have provided me with your team's email, and when you guys create the team email, please create like an email that is just a general email that anyone can access. Members of your team will be able to use. So don't use your personal email. And also the email is just a username that any of your team members will use to sign in. And you guys can create a password, a general password for your team. Once I've added you guys to this board to create an issue. So I would also be assigning the task to create your own ticket to you. I'll be assigning the task to create your ticket to your team. So your team will be responsible for creating your own ticket. This varies per company. I've worked on some projects before where I was responsible for creating my own tickets. So my lead would tell me, we need to work on this, and I will have to write my Jira ticket based on that and fill in all the details. And sometimes you may work on another project where you guys have a Scrum Master that is responsible for writing the tickets. So every team you work on is different, but you guys should always think along the lines of understand from an agile perspective, understand the Jira board. If you have to create a ticket or do anything on your Jira board, just understand how to do it, even if that is not going to be your job. But there isn't like anything too difficult here to do. Okay, once I add your team to this space and you want to create your ticket, I have an idea on how to create a ticket, and let's try that idea out. So let's say you want to create the ticket for the current task you guys are working on. An idea that I always use is, let's use ChatGPT to write the issues for our ticket. So I would just go there. I'll go to ChatGPT. I want to tell you guys that if you are not using ChatGPT, you should also consider using it as part of your day-to-day tool you use to be more efficient. No, ChatGPT is good for, I want you to see it as someone like me. When you guys get stuck with some stuff, when you are working on your projects, you guys reach out to me. Aziz, what's wrong with this? What am I doing wrong here? ChatGPT is kind of like the same type of tool. We use Google all the time, so ChatGPT is no different, except for it is just very, very, very specific to providing you with the answer of what you are looking for. So here, I want to, since I'm terrible at writing and I need an idea, or I want to write the details for my Jira story. So here, remember I gave you guys this assignment, and these are pretty much the details of what I gave you guys. So what you can do is copy this, and in ChatGPT, I'm just going to type something like this. So I'm going to type, I want to use this information to create a Jira issue. Then paste that information in there and run it. So here you can see it has written pretty much what your Jira issue should be. Right here, you can use the summary for the issue name, and here's the description and acceptance criteria. So Anytime they write a ticket at work, they always have an acceptance criteria category. What's the word I'm looking for? Is it category? They always have an acceptance criteria section. And that is, in order for this ticket to be marked as completed, you must have complete all these tasks. So we are following the same idea and having acceptance criteria. As you guys know, for this particular task, you need to provide 2 scripts, and the script should be one to download the web files from GitHub, and the other script should be able to download your web files from an S3 bucket. We must be able to run your script on any EC2 instance to be able to access the website. We must be able to run your script on any EC2 instance to be able to deploy the website. So here we have just listed the acceptance criteria. So all you have to do is, first, I'm just going to copy this, and in my Jira board, here you are going to click create. Then we are going to create a story. So leave it on story. Under summary, I'm going to paste that title there. Then under description, we can copy this. And I'm going to paste it here. Let me try the other method. Maybe that will work. Okay, this is much better. Once you add your title and description, here we will leave the status on to do. If you guys look here, the first part is to do. So I'm just going to leave it there for now, just to be able to demonstrate how to move your ticket from to do to in progress. Then once you are creating your ticket, you can scroll down here. Under assigning, this is how you assign the ticket to someone. So since I'm the only one on our Jira board now, I'm going to assign this ticket I'm creating to myself. So assume this is you creating the ticket. So once you create your ticket, you can assign it to yourself. Or sometimes they may have a ticket that is already created at work. They'll send you the link and they'll tell you, we want you to work on this ticket. So at that point, you can edit the ticket and assign it to yourself. This is where you do that under assigning. Then we are going to scroll down here, the sprint. We are currently in sprint 1. So if you select this drop down, you can add it to the current sprint, which is sprint 1. Then story point. Story point is how the task you are working on is weighed. So every company has a different method they use. So based on the point that is attached to your story, it just signifies how complex that task is. So for more complex story, the point on it might be higher. So the higher the point, the more time you can take to work on that story, and the more complex the story is. So for this story point, let's use a method of 1 point is a day. And here we have 5 days for this sprint to be completed. So you guys have 5 days to work on it. So for the story point, we'll just say 5. And that's all we need to do here and click create. So you can see I've created the story here. And right now it is in to do. Then all you have to do to move this story to in progress is you just have to click on it here. So there are several ways you can do it. You can click on it here, right? And you see to do here, you can select this drop down and put it in progress. Or I like just dragging it here. So I'm going to select the story here and just drag it to in progress. And this is how your day-to-day is typically like as a cloud engineer when you are working on your tasks and you are moving your tasks from to do to in progress. Then once you are done, you will leave it in review. This in review is for me to review your work. In our class, in review will be for me to review, but at work, in review will be maybe your lead on your team or your manager. That will be for them to review your work. Once it has been approved, then you can move it to done. The section you see here is called blocker. And on your Jira board at work, you also have that section. And this is just, let's say you are working on this project and you run into any issue that absolutely is hindering you from completing your tasks. Sometimes you might run into that at work. Maybe something you need to complete your work, you are relying on another team to provide that information and the team hasn't got back to you. You are not going to just sit there at the sprint. You are not just going to sit there during the sprint and not do any work. So in that case, you just move the current story you are working on to blocker, and your manager or your lead will assign another story to you. So that is what this blocker is for. But in our class, we can use the blocker for questions you guys have, issues you ran into throughout the week. Then when we meet, I can troubleshoot with you, or I can do a demo based on what is in the blocker. This is a simple way to add your story to the Jira board and move your story from to do to in progress. So once you guys have access, create a story, create one story for your team. Then you guys can move the story as you please. And if you want to add comments to your story, you can click on the story. If you scroll down here under comments, you can add comments to it. So that way you guys can know who's working on the story at what point and the progress you guys have made. So under the comment section is where you can add comments. Do you guys have any question?
So we will be given like different projects to work, right? Because I think this one was like one project that we had similar, like it was the same, we were all supposed to host an HTML website on EC2 instance for like all of like everybody. Like, will the next one be different, or it will be the same for everybody as well?
It will be the same.
Okay, got it.
Because at this point, the stuff we are still working on is like foundational stuff. At this point, the tasks we are working on, everyone can participate and everyone can work on it. So for now, it will be the same task. If we get to a point where the task is different, then I would think of ways to create different stories for each individual person. But since I'm using the free version of Jira, it is limited to 10 users, and that 10 users can accommodate everyone we have here now. So that is why we are doing it this way. So instead of doing one person, we are doing your team as one person, then we'll just keep working through it that way.
Okay, makes sense.
So we just need to submit to you our preferred team email, and you're gonna add us here. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then you're gonna give us the link to access this Jira website, correct?
Correct, yes. Once I add you, I'll send the details to your team. Then you guys can access here. You guys will be able to access this Jira board and start creating your issues on it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, cool. In regards to the tasks you guys are working on, I would go through the first task just to give you guys an idea how to think of these tasks when you are working on them. In the program, you guys have the projects to complete. The task you will be assigned after you complete the project is a mirror of the project, but I also want to add a little bit twist to it where you won't be able to just use whatever steps you use in the project and duplicate that step here. I want you to understand what you are doing. That is why in this task, I actually made it to where I said, download your script from GitHub and also download your script from S3, because the process to download your script from GitHub is slightly different from the process to download your script from S3. What you guys should be thinking about is the high level concept of how to do that. In the beginning, when you start working on the task, you are not really thinking about the steps. You are just thinking of, okay, how can I do this? So just using the instructions that we have for this project as an example, for the first one where we have to, I'm not going to do this S3 one, but I'll do the GitHub one. The S3 one, I want you guys to figure out that process. So because you guys working on the project is a way to challenge you to start thinking like a cloud engineer. So imagine this is your day-to-day work. But certainly I would help you out if you need help. But I want to also challenge you guys to be resourceful on your own and also find ways to complete the project. The good thing is you also have your team. That is why you guys are in a team. Please share ideas with each other. And I'm sure with all of you guys working together, you can resolve the issue. There's nothing here that I don't think any of you is smart enough not to be able to figure out. Okay, so I'm going to work on this second one. And just to show you guys the idea of how I would complete this task. All right, the first instruction said I need to download the web files from this link. So this is what I do when I work on a project at work. I always take notes at work. It is just because I can't share things that I'm doing at work with you guys here. But if I could, I will show you, I take notes all the time. Step-by-step notes, detail of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. I take notes. So that should be the first thing you guys should be doing. Research. What do you need to do? So here, I'm going to open, here, I'm just going to open my notepad here. For the first step, I need to download the web files. Then I need to upload the web files into a GitHub repository. If you need to upload the web file into a GitHub repository, so obviously with that, you know you're going to need a repository. So here, I'm going to put create a repository. Then after that, I need to create my script. So I'm just going to put here, create a script to deploy. So those are like the 3 steps of what I need to do. The last one is just, it goes with number 3, use the script to deploy the website. Okay, well, if you even want to go a step further, write a script to deploy the website and use EC2 instance. We can create another one. Once I have my steps, I can follow the steps to complete the task. First, I need to download the web file. So I'm just going to use the link that was provided and download the web file here. And I've downloaded on my computer. This is the web file here. I have it somewhere in here, so it is showing up twice, but I want to remove. So I have it here. I'm just going to delete. Let me delete this and start all over. So I need to download the web file. I'm just going to download it again. It has downloaded on my computer and the web files is here. So that completes the first part. The second part is I need to create a GitHub repository. So here, I'm going to come to GitHub. I'm going to create a repository here. Then the steps we created here is a high-level step. Once you start implementing, this is where you start running into additional questions. Because here you may have created a private repository, but then when you create a private repository, how are you going to be able to download your web files from it, right? When you try to run your script, you will run into issues. From the issues you troubleshoot, you'll figure it out. But I am telling you, I told you in this project that for your repository, let's just make it public. We just want to be able to download the web file from a public repository. So we'll create a public repository here and scroll down and click. We will add a README file. We will scroll down, add a README file and click create repository. Once you create the repository, you can add the web files to it. So here I'm going to click add file. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. So once you create the repository, I'm going to add the web files to it. So I'm going to click the drop down on add file and I'm going to click upload files. Then all I have to do is come to the directory on my computer where I downloaded the web files to drag it and drop it here. Once I drop it, scroll down and click commit changes. And here I've uploaded the zip file into the GitHub repository. And the repository is a public repository. The next thing we have to do is write our script. Before you start writing the script, one thing you should do is know the structure of this folder. So here, the folder I downloaded on my computer, I can unzip it. This is it, I've unzipped it. If I double click on it, you can see the structure of that folder. There is a folder called mo-main, and in that folder, that is where all my web files are located. The reason why it is important for you to know the structure of the folder is because your web files could have been in another additional directory. So just understand the structure of the folder and where the web files you are trying to download to your EC2 instance is located. And once you have that understanding, we can launch our EC2 instance and use the EC2 instance to create our script. The mistake I see some of you guys making is when it comes to writing your script, you are just writing your script from scratch. But that is not how to think about solving problems, especially now that you are trying to learn. What I expect you to do is launch an EC2 instance. So here I'm going to launch a new EC2 instance. I'll give it a name. Then here under application and OS images, I'm going to select Amazon Linux, and let's use Amazon Linux 2. Then scroll down. Under instance type, it is going to be T2 micro, and under key pair, I'm going to select my key pair. Once you select your key pair, scroll down. Under network settings, we'll click edit. For this project, I mentioned that you can launch your EC2 instance in your default VPC. So here, I'll select the default VPC. Under subnet preference, it doesn't matter which subnet you launch it in. So I'll just pick any subnet. And under auto assign public IP, we will enable it. Then under firewall security groups, we are going to create a security group. This is where you can start adding more details to your notes. Like for example, when you launch the EC2 instance, right here, you need to open some ports. And when it comes to opening ports, I don't want you guys to always worry about how do I know what ports I'm supposed to open. Here, we are working on a regular HTML website. And for HTML website, it's a general knowledge that you guys, from all the projects you guys have been working on now, you already know that for internet traffic, they work on port 80, and the encrypted version of internet traffic works on port 443. So those ones, you just know them automatically from working on project. And we also know that to SSH into our EC2 instance, we need to open port 22. Those are the only two ports we need here. So here I can say open port 80 and 22. So when I'm creating the security groups here, I'm just going to give the security group a name. Then under inbound security group rule, SSH is here. SSH works on port 22. And under source type, we are going to select this drop down and select my IP. You should always limit your SSH access to your IP address. Then we are going to add another rule, because remember, according to our notes, we want to open port 80 as well, so that once we deploy our website, we are able to access it. So here we are going to add another rule. Under type, select this drop down and look for HTTP. Port 80 is on HTTP. Then we are going to add the source. Under source, the source is going to be from anywhere on the internet. So here you can click this drop down and select anywhere, and you can see it has add that here. Or what I always do is I can put it on custom, because I don't want to do anywhere on IPv6. It doesn't matter if you put it there, it's not going to hurt anything. But anywhere on IPv4 is 0.0.0.0/0. So I'll select it. Then here we are going to scroll down and launch our EC2 instance. You guys notice that I didn't add anything to my user data yet. Then once you launch your EC2 instance, we are going to go into that EC2 instance. And I'm just going to wait for the instance state to be running. Then I would SSH into the EC2 instance. I'm going to refresh here. My instance is running. I'm going to select it. Then under details, I'm going to copy the public IPv4 address of that instance. Once I copy it, I'm going to open PowerShell. I'm using PowerShell to SSH into my EC2 instance. If you are working on the Mac terminal, or you want to use PuTTY on a Windows computer, use whatever method you always use to SSH into your EC2 instance. So since I'm using PowerShell, I open PowerShell and I'm going to SSH into my EC2 instance by typing SSH-I and the name of my key pair. The name of my key pair is, let me check it here. I believe it's my EC2.
My EC2 key, yeah.
Yeah. Then once I enter the path to my key, then I'm going to also enter the username of my EC2 instance, which for Amazon Linux 2, it is EC2-user at the public IPv4 address. I'll paste it there, press enter. The first time you try to SSH into your EC2 instance, it will ask you this, you type yes and press enter. Now I am in the EC2 instance. Then this is where I can start the process of manually installing the website on the EC2 instance. I am not writing the script at this point. I'm just trying to figure out if this is the first time. What I'm saying is the first time I worked on this project, this is exactly what I did. It took time for me to figure out all the commands I need. There was a lot of troubleshooting that I did, but this website is very simple. This is a very simple website we are deploying. But what I'm saying is you need to use the same mentality for any task you'll be completing as a cloud engineer. You need to break it down into, okay, if I was to do this step by step, how do I complete this step by step? Then once you have all those steps, then that is when you can automate it with Terraform, or you can automate it with user data, bash script, or whatever you need to do. But understanding the fundamentals of what you are trying to do is very important. So now that I'm in my EC2 instance, we all know that we always need to change to root. So I'm just going to do sudo su to change to root user, because this allows me to be able to run some commands on this EC2 instance as an administrator. And if you didn't change to root user, if you ran your command, it was going to give you an error. Then you'll know that, okay, I need to change to root. Then once you change to root, we always update our EC2 instance. So here it will type yum update -y. And if you don't know this command, you can use Google. Now that there's ChatGPT, use ChatGPT. So here, you know you need to update your EC2 instance, but you don't know the command to do it. So here, you can just put command to, let's be more, what is the command to update an Amazon to EC2 instance? Once you type the command, press enter. You can see it is right here. It is the same one as what I typed here. But here, the difference between -y and what you are seeing here is once you run this command, at some point, it will ask you to press enter. But if you want to run your command straight up without having to press enter later on, that's where you include this -y. So we are going to press enter here, and we are now updating our EC2 instance. The main step is to understand what you are trying to do. If you understand what you are trying to do, you'll be able to find the answer. Then once we have updated our EC2 instance, the next thing we need to do is install Apache. Just like I did for the previous command, if you don't know the command to install Apache, you can look it up on Google or ask ChatGPT. Then here, the command is yum install -y httpd. Once I type the command, I'm going to press enter. It is now installing. It has now installed Apache on the EC2 instance. This is also another general knowledge you will know from hosting a website on an EC2 instance. And it comes through trial and error. But the good thing is you have someone like me where I can explain some of these things to you. The first time I did it, I didn't understand some of this concept. So you guys should be easy on yourself. If there's something you don't understand now, but just try to always be thinking along the lines of the fundamentals. When I started working on this project, for example, I didn't understand where the HTML directory came from. And from just troubleshooting, what I learned and what I'm also telling you is that the HTML directory will be available after you have installed the Apache server on your EC2 instance. So when you install the Apache server with the previous command I just ran, then it will create the HTML directory for you. And you guys know for this type of application we are working on, this type of website, in order for us to see our website, all of our web files, meaning that when I told you guys to download this folder, right, on my computer, I just unzip it just to see what is in it. In this folder, in order for me to see my website, I need to put all these files we are seeing in this directory in the HTML directory. not the folder. You don't need to put this folder. If you put this folder in your HTML directory, you are one step closer, but you won't be able to see your website. You need to put all the files as you see here in your HTML directory. So for this project, that is the main solution we are trying to solve. How do we get all these files from our computer into the HTML directory on our EC2 instance? The one step we used to do that is we uploaded this zip file to GitHub, which makes it easier to download it from GitHub to our computer. Similarly, you can download this file, this zip folder from your computer to your EC2 instance, but you just have to set up the necessary permission to be able to download a file from your computer to your EC2 instance. There are always many ways to solve one issue in AWS. So now that I have installed Apache, the HTML directory is available. You guys know that in order to, when we say directory, we are just talking about, it's just a folder on your EC2. So to go into that HTML directory, we are going to do cd/var and press enter. I'm only showing you how to do it one by one because cd/var is one directory. And if you ls to see what is in that directory, you can see there's a www directory in there. So to go into that one, you type cd www and press enter. Now I am in the www directory. And if you ls in there, you see the HTML directory. And if you cd HTML and ls, there is nothing in the HTML directory. If you type pwd, that is to show you what directory you are currently in. You'll see that you are in the var www/html. This is how we come up with the full command of cd into this part. So instead of me doing it one at a time, I could have typed cd/var/www/html just to go into it one by one. But the first time I worked on this project, I had to cd into each folder, look at what is in the folder so I understand what is going on. Then now that I am in the HTML directory, I know I need to download my web files into this HTML directory. So here, I'm going to use the wget command, wget, and the link to download the web file from my GitHub repository. I'm going to go to my GitHub repository. To get the download link, I'm going to select code here. Under this download zip, I'm going to right-click on it and click copy link address. Once you copy the address to download what is in your GitHub repository, then in the terminal, I'm just going to paste it here and press enter. And there you go. It has downloaded the file from my GitHub repository. I'm going to clear my screen so you guys can see. Remember what I told you guys? You just downloaded a file. Verify that the last command you ran worked as intended. So since I ran the last command to download a file, when I ls in my HTML directory, I should be able to see the file I downloaded there, which is this main.zip folder. Then remember that I said that in order for you to see your website, you are in the HTML directory and you have downloaded the web file in the HTML directory. In order for you to see your website, I said that all the web files needs to be in it like this, not like this. So we need to unzip this zip folder and put all of our web files in it. That is why now on our EC2 instance, we have to unzip this zip folder just like I unzipped it on my computer. So always relate the concept back to your computer. It's the same thing you'll be doing on your computer that you are doing here. So to unzip a zip folder on an EC2 instance, if you don't know the command, just use Google or use ChatGPT. What is the command to unzip a folder on Amazon Linux 2? It would give you the exact command. The command is unzip and the name of the folder you want to unzip. The name of the folder I want to unzip is main.zip. Once you type unzip and the name of the folder you want to unzip, press enter. And there you go. I have unzipped this folder. Now in my HTML directory, remember I'm still in HTML. If I type ls there again, now I have two folders, the zip folder I downloaded from GitHub and the one I just unzipped. So now what I need to do is in this unzip folder, this is where my website files are in. So I need to find a way to move all those files from that unzip folder into my HTML directory. Remember, that's the only time your website will work, when all your web files are present in your HTML directory. For example, if I cd into this folder I unzipped, right, and press enter, then I ls, my web file should be in this folder. So I'm not sure why it is showing me another one. So let me try to unzip it again and see what's going on. Unzip. Something weird is going on. Because I unzipped my folder into the HTML directory here, and I don't know why it is not showing up in here, which it should be in here. So let me try this.
I got a question.
Yeah, sure.
So before you uploaded to GitHub, you already unzipped the folder, and then you still have to unzip it since you already unzipped it before uploading it to GitHub.
The one I uploaded to GitHub is zip. I didn't unzip it.
Oh, you didn't unzip it before? Okay, I took
No, yeah. So it is on zip. It's by sometimes, and this is sometimes I talked about troubleshooting. You guys can see even me working on it now. I am in this directory, and I still can see why it is not showing me the folder that I unzip, because it's showing that I'm in that directory, and in that directory, it's showing me that I have this unzip mo.zip. So let me run the command to unzip it again. Maybe that's the issue. Unzip mo.zip. Okay, it unzip it that time.
Yeah, as the other time you were using main.zip. That was the problem.
Oh, I ran a different command.
Yeah, the name was main.zip. You were using the wrong name.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you.
Check your history. Yeah.
Yeah, please, if I'm typing the wrong command, please let me know. Yeah, so I mean, I've typed the wrong command the first time. We need to unzip it. So the idea I'm trying to explain is when you download the folder, you need to see what is there. And you can see there's no way of me knowing the command because I need to understand the folder structure. Then when I unzipped it here, now that I am in that one that I unzipped, now there is another folder in there. So I probably just messed up. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start all over. So I'm going to do, and this is where you learn. And you can see even like for me, I still made mistake. And this is how I can kind of like rectify. I'm going to cd back into my HTML directory. Right. And I'm going to ls in here. In my HTML directory, I'm just going to start from scratch. I'm going to remove this other folder. I'm going to rm -rm. This is the command to delete a folder. So if I ls now, that folder is gone. I'm probably just going to delete this main one again. I'm going to run the same command. And now in my HTML, why is it? Oh, why am I'm typing the wrong thing. In Dutch. ls. Okay. So this is the point where I just installed my website, install Apache, and I cd into the HTML directory. So I need to download the web files from Git. So I'm just going to do wget and the link to download the web file. I'm going to come here, right click here, copy link address, then here, paste it, press enter. I've downloaded the zip file. If I ls, it is here. So now I need to unzip it. The unzip command is unzip main. And make sure I'm typing it right. So a good thing to make sure you are not typing the wrong command is once you type something close to the name, if you press the tab key, it would auto-complete it for you. Then I'm going to press enter here. I have unzipped that folder. I'm going to clear my screen. Then I'm going to ls again. Now I have the zip and the unzip version. So in the unzip version, I just want to cd into it for now, just to see what is in it. Then if I ls here, it is still doing the same thing. I don't know why it's creating two directories in one, which is weird. But anyway, in the unzipped version, that is where my another zip folder is in it called main. Oh, I see. This is really my original zip folder, right? It makes sense now. This is the folder that my website is in. But when I downloaded it from GitHub, GitHub is putting
the
this
main was the
folder.
GitHub. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. GitHub is putting it in another zip folder. Okay, it makes sense. All right. So now in this mode, I need to unzip this folder too. So here I'm going to unzip more. Now, if I ls, you can see now I have the web file and the one I unzip. So now I need to cd into that mode just to make sure. This is why I was saying that you need to understand your folder structure, because I was even confused because I thought my directory is just one directory down, but it turned out it's actually two directories down. So now I'm going to cd into this mode, main, unzip, the one I unzipped, and press enter, then ls here. Now you can see my web files are in here. So all I need to do is, and for you to see the directory you are in, right? Here, if you type pwd, pwd will show you your current directory you are in, the path to that directory. You can see the path to it is not in this more site main, it is actually in this one. So this is why it is important to always run the commands one at a time just to see what you are doing. So now that I know where the directory is in, the next thing I need to do is I need to copy all the files from here that are in this more main into my HTML directory. And how I can do that is you can run the command from here too, it would work. Because remember, we are in here, but it doesn't matter where you run the command from. So to copy all the files from here into the HTML directory, you can use the copy command. And for the command, always remember the concept. Just look for it if you don't know which command to use. The main thing is you understand what you are trying to do. So here, I'm trying to copy all the files. So I use this cp command. Then this is the path to where the files I want to copy is. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. So the first part is the part that the files that I want to copy is in. Then you add a space. Then the next part is the directory where you want to copy them to. So the directory is going to be /var/www/html. Then I'm going to press enter. Now, if I go back into my HTML directory, remember you can do cd /var/www/html and ls in there. Well, my command seems to be copied. Oh no, my command is wrong. Sorry, I did that wrong. But
The copy from is wrong.
Yeah, so I need to run this command again. So here I'm missing / and a star. So the command I ran here is wrong, but I'll clean it up later on. So here on this command, I'm glad I ran into these issues because some questions that I got where you say, oh, I ran my script, it didn't work. This might be one of the reasons why it's not working, because your commands might be wrong in your script, the path might be wrong. There's just something might be wrong. So the only way for you to know exactly what you are doing wrong is to run it manually and see what's going on. So I'm going to try this command. So I've run that command. Now, if I ls in here, yes, all my files are there. So here you guys can see I ran the wrong command, and that is why it didn't really do what I intended for it to do, which is why I always say, when you run your command, don't just move on to the next one. Verify that what you did is there, because you can easily make mistakes. Because I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. My brain seems to be on auto because I'm just kind of like zooming along. Okay, so I've copied all my web files into my HTML directory. You can see them here. Let me clear my screen so I can show you. I'm going to ls. I've copied all my web files into the HTML directory. All these other ones that I have here don't really matter because I can do cleanup and clean them up. So now that I've copied my web files into the HTML directory, I want to clean up all these extra folders that I have here. So the command to delete a folder in Linux, the one that I use that I find very easy to use is rm-rf. Once you type that command, you just type the name of what you are trying to delete. So here I'm trying to delete main.zip. I'm trying to delete mo-main, and I'm trying to delete mo-site main. So I'm trying to delete those three files, those three directories, which is this one, and this one. Since I have all my web files in this directory, then I don't need this file I downloaded from GitHub and all that stuff. So I'm just going to run this command to remove them. Then now if I type ls in there, you can see only my web files are in the HTML directory. If we left this in our HTML directory, our website is still going to work, but it's just, again, just cleaning up after we've done we've moved our file. So the main problem we just solved here is we found a way to move the web files that I gave you. We find a way to move it into our EC2 instance, because that is only when our website will be available. Then now that I've moved my web files into the HTML directory, I can now start the Apache service with the start command. I can also enable on the EC2 instance that anytime I stop and start my EC2 instance, the Apache service should always be in the start state. So the command we'll use to do that is systemctl and enable httpd. So this is the command that will enable the Apache service to be in the start state anytime you start and stop your EC2 instance. So I'm going to press enter there. Then the other command to start the Apache service is also systemctl, but instead of enable here, we are just going to use start. Then I'll press enter. And I've run all those commands. Then now I need to just verify that my website is working. I'll come back to my EC2 console. I'll select my EC2 instance, copy it, then come here, paste the IPv4 address there, press enter, and you can see my website is working. Yeah, it takes a while for it to load, but it is working. That sound thing is distracting me. Now that the site is working, right? This is how you get your script. I did a bunch of stuff here in terms of running my command to figure out what commands I need for my site to work. Even me, this is the first time I'm working on this particular web file, and you saw that I got confused because I was expecting my web files to be one directory after I unzip this one, but it is not, and it makes sense. I understand now why it is the case. In some of the projects that we've done, I unzipped the folder on my computer and I moved the web files into GitHub. But in this case, I put the zip folder in GitHub. So when I downloaded it, I still have to unzip this one. So that was what was going on. But anyway, we've run all the commands. We've verified that our website is working. To now get all the commands that you will use to create your script, all you have to do here is type history. So when you type history, you'll see all the commands that you ran from the moment you SSH into your EC2 instance. So you can literally just select all this. I'm going to select it, copy it. I'm showing you the rough way of doing it, but the best way to probably do it is when you run a command, you verify that that command works as intended, copy that command into your notes, and you can keep building your script as you go. But since I didn't build my script as I was going, this is a rough way I can do it. So I'm just going to come back to my, going to come back here. Let me open another one. I'll paste it here. Then I can just clean up this. I know I updated my EC2 instance, then I install Apache. So here, I changed my directory into the HTML, but at this point, I did it one folder after the other. So if you did this, where we have ls, we can remove those because we don't need those. If your script look like this, it's still going to work. But to clean it up, you can just do this. You can just do this. Right. So that is the third command to change your directory into the HTML directory. This ls and pwd, that's just to see what is in our directory and the current directory we are in. So we can remove that. We don't need it. The wget command is the one I used to download the web files. We need that. Then once we download it, we don't need this clear. I cleared my screen and ls. I can remove that. Then we unzipped it. We need that. Then once we unzipped, right, it created this directory and we cd into that directory. We need that. Then once we unzip it, we cd into this directory. You can either leave it there or remove it, but we really don't. And this is when I was making all those, I was trying to figure out all the things, what was going on. So all these parts here are just duplicates. So I'm just going to, this is when I downloaded it again. So all this here, I really don't need this. See, this is where I made all those mistakes. So here, from here to here, going to delete those. So I unzipped my folder, then I need to copy whatever is in the unzip into the HTML directory. So this is the command that I need. So this is the next step here. Then once I unzip it, once I copy everything into the HTML directory, then I ls clear. I'm just going to remove this ones. Then I remove the extra folder that I don't need, right, which are these ones. Then I start the server. This is really how you get your script. By you doing this, you are pretty much teaching yourself the process, because you looking at the command again is reinforcing, okay, I ran this command, I know what this command is doing. And at this point, I'm just going to remove that.
Adi.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the unzip main.zip, I know that that's from the GitHub, right? Should we also add unzip mole.zip? Because that's what we found out earlier. Inside the main.zip, there's still mole.zip.
Oh, yeah. That is true. You're right. You're right.
Am I correct?
You are. I was wrong. You're right. So I did miss the step here. So where's it? You're right. So here, I still need this one. Yeah. So main, yeah, you're right. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So that's how you know what you are doing. I'm still stuck on like my part is my folder should be in one directory of, but I didn't put my web files in my GitHub. I put the zip folder in there, so it makes sense. So you are right. After we unzipped it, we need to unzip the mole because the mole is in the main. Then after that is when we get to this point. Like I said, when I worked on this project, even now when I work on certain things, I would have to troubleshoot to get to the answer. So here, after we unzip it, then we want to copy everything. So this is where I made the mistake earlier. We don't need this and we need this. Then after that, we did the cleanup. So I can remove this. Then after that, we start our service. So this is how you get your script. So here, I'm just going to remove the numbers. We're almost done with the demo, just bear with me. So I'm just going to clean it up there. The one thing we did is we changed to root. It won't show you that because it won't be part of your history. So we just had sudo su. Then the only other thing we need to add here is the bin bash, which tells the EC2 instance what to use to run the script. So here we're going to do hashtag bin hashtag bash. So this is how you come up with your script. So to prove that I did everything right, now I can just launch another EC2 instance. I will do more site 2. Then I'm going to scroll down here. It is going to be Amazon Linux. I'm going to use Amazon Linux 2. Then scroll down here. The instance type is going to be T2 micro. The key pair, I'm going to select the drop down and select my key pair. Under network settings, we are going to click edit and just use our default VPC. I'll select any subnet. Then firewall security group, we can use the previous security group we created, which I called MoSite SG. Then under advanced, click on the drop down on the advanced, scroll down. No, not, this is advanced network configuration. So just scroll down here and under advanced details, this is where we want to click and scroll all the way down. Once you scroll all the way down here under user data, I'm going to get that script that I just created here, copy it and paste it here. Then that is all I really need to do here and click. Why does my script look different? I feel like I'm missing something. I keep making that mistake. You know, I know how to get it. Here. Here. I'm missing this one. So here, download it, zip. Yeah, I'm missing this. But anyway, you guys get the gist of what we are doing here. This is really how you, when you guys run your script and it's not working, you can even say, for me, I've made a couple of mistakes. So troubleshooting is always part of what you'll be doing as a cloud engineer. So I believe this is the script I need, because once I unzip it, unzip the two, then I want to copy all the files out of this into my HTML directory. Then I want to remove this. This is the script. So I'm going to paste my script in here, then launch my instance. If I've done everything right, when this EC2 instance comes up, I should be able to access my website. So I'm just going to wait for this instance to be running. And once the instance is running, I should be able to access my website. While we are waiting, do you guys have any question?
None so far.
Okay.
Well explained.
Thank you. And excuse all the mistakes I made. But again, it's good that I make the mistakes so you guys can see that I'm just a rookie as well. There is no, you know, it's just trials and error. The good thing is when you are working as a cloud engineer, you have enough time to just troubleshoot whatever issues you are facing, rectify any error you've made, and just go over the process until you understand it, until you get the right commands for what you are trying to do. So what you guys see me do here, I do make that mistake very often, a lot. It might be because I'm not paying attention to what the commands that I typed. Sometimes that happens. So it's good that we get to see that process the same way. So when you guys are working on it, and if you run into any issues, you make any error, don't beat yourself up about it. Just, it's part of the learning, and don't be afraid to mess up. At least at this stage, don't be afraid to mess up. Sometimes when you run the bash script, because it is running on the EC2 instance, it takes time for it to run. So I'll wait for the status check to be available, or even now I can still try to see if I can access my site. I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Press enter. So you see, there's something wrong. You guys always see when we get this test page, right? When we get this test page, it means that it has installed Apache, but my web files are not in the HTML directory. I'm really glad all this is happening, because when you are working on your script, it might take some, like, couple of tries for you just to perfect it. So let's say you did everything we just did, right? This is the script that I just used, right? And I'm trying to access my site. Let me just make sure it is not that the script is still running and I need to wait for it to be done. Okay, my test page is showing, meaning that I've installed Apache, but all my web files are not yet in the HTML directory. This is, I think Ola had this question when he was running it. So to troubleshoot this, what I'm just going to do.
Yeah, I had the same issue as well.
Great. Yeah, good. So what I'm just going to do is SSH into this EC2 instance. I'm going to open another PowerShell. I'm just going to run my command to SSH into this EC2 instance. Then I'm going to yes. By seeing our test page, we know that this ran, and this ran. So the issue is from here. So now we know this, we have the HTML because that's why we can see our test page. So now I need to trace back my step. I'm going to copy this command. I'm going to go into the EC2 instance I just SSH into, paste that command in there, press enter, right? That works, so I know that command works. So I'm going to ls in here, and you can see the ls is not, before I even do that, let me sudo su, ls. And you can see here, my web files is not in here. So that means there's something wrong with this command.
You have to seed in, since you have already sudo su now, you have to seed into it. Let's see if it's there.
Yeah, let me exit. So I'm back in my EC2. Yeah, I'm in the HTML directory. If I ls, my web files is not in it. Right.
Hey, Assis, sorry to interrupt. Maybe you could just use the curl and then run that like user data, and then you could see all those what you already loaded.
Oh, okay. Let me try this. You might have to even teach me that one. So just a second. Let me try to run this command. So that worked. ls. So it's there, but I'm not sure why it didn't work here. So what did you say I should use?
Curl and then 169.254 /latest/user-data.
So it was, can you just repeat it again, please?
169.254. 169.254 and that 169.254 /latest /user-data.
Like this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. See, I just learned something new. Wow. If you get this, this means that these are the script I put in the user data, but how am I able to tell which one ran successfully and which one didn't run? Because that's where the issue is. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So my user data is fine, is fine. That it might be something I need to look into, because my wget command, it does work. So why didn't this command download from there's a reason why. We just need to, it might be, oh, you know what it is? Let's try this.
Is the mol.zip has been extracted, Aziz? The mol.zip?
No, the zip file never got downloaded. That was the issue. There's a reason why it didn't get downloaded, but I'm suspecting maybe it's because I need to enable HTTPS. Let me try that. Test. More. EC2, Linux 2. Instance type. Keep it. And here I'm going to select my default VPC. I'm going to create a new security group. This time I'm going to my IP. I'm going to allow HTTPS and HTTP. Then I'm going to select this drop down, not this one. Here. And I'm going to paste my user data in there. Then launch instance. Then go here. If that's the case, then I just learned something new. Because here, the command does work to download it, but then when I run it on the user data, it didn't work. So there has to be a reason why that didn't work.
So it's possible it didn't work because you didn't enable the HTTPS.
Yes, that's what I'm testing now to see.
See, okay.
To see whether, because when we run the wget to download it, I'm suspecting obviously it's probably gonna, anything we're working with GitHub, it's probably going to be downloaded over HTTPS, because I'm assuming it's not going to be HTTP. So that's probably why it didn't work. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to test here to see. As you guys can see, I'm just like you guys. I messed up too, and everything is just. But the more you make mistakes, the more you try to backtrack to troubleshoot what you are doing, the more you will learn. That my biggest learning experience always comes from when I make mistakes. Like even like a lot of the stuff that I've made, like some of the mistakes that I've made today, I always remember. And even when you guys are working, there will be, I'm sure you guys have been hearing the alarm that's been going off. That's because I'm on duty and I'm on call. Something is wrong somewhere in the system. That's why I'm getting those alarms. So once I'm done here, I have to log in to try to figure out what's going on. Troubleshooting is definitely part of your day-to-day as a cloud engineer, which is why understanding what you are doing would help you limit the hassle you will face when you have to troubleshoot something. So let me try this. Hopefully this works. It's still not working. Anyway, I'm going to have to work on that. And why isn't it downloading the file? That's weird. Or is my command wrong? Let me see. Sudo bash sudo.
I'm wondering if we really need the unzip mol.zip, because honestly, I don't remember that putting in my script when I got it working.
Yeah, but the issue is the web files are not even in my HTML directory. That's the thing. Because if I cd into, if I SSH into, which one is it? This. I'm just going to close my terminal. I'm going to SSH here. Into yes. Sudo su cd. It's not downloading it might be an issue with, I don't know. To be honest with you guys, I don't know what is causing the issue. I have to just play around with it just to figure it out why. And I'll have an answer for you guys later on, but I'm not going to use that to delay things because here, if I run this script, it works. If I run it here, it works. Yeah. And it might be, maybe something is wrong with my default VPC. I don't know. It could be something somewhere, but I'll figure it out.
Can you go back real quick? Because I was just looking at where it says main zip. Is that the file that don't you have to unzip? So did you unzip that file? Because it's still showing it was zip on the other one when you ran it just now on the other terminal.
Oh, which one? Here?
The one that you just, you see where it says file zipped? When you have to unzip that again?
Oh, yeah. So the issue I'm facing is here. At this point of my command, this is not running.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you can't unzip the, because I was wondering, I know the other one that you have going to, they tell you have to unzip the file, and then you got to delete the file because you don't need it once it's in the directory. Okay.
Exactly. Because if I don't even have a file to unzip, like this would, the thing about it is it won't tell you there's an error. It will just quit and launch your EC2 instance. Since there's no file to unzip, all these other ones would not execute. So where the issue is because you guys saw that when I
maybe no file didn't download when you so there's nothing to unzip. Okay.
Yeah, the file is not getting downloaded, so I need to figure out why. It might be an issue in my VPC. But when you guys can try it, I'll put this command in the chat. You guys can try it out on your end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it will be different. It will be different. Like obviously, you know, the URL, your URL here will be different. Your repository name will probably be different from mine.
Yeah.
So,
Aziz, one of the troubleshooting that I also did was I recreated my default VPC. I chose different subnets. Me and the team thought that might also be the case. I don't know, but I think that could be one of the troubleshooting steps that you can do.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Stevenson, go ahead. But I think there's an issue in my VPC because this should work. I don't know. I don't know why
I wanted
that's.
to ask you if it's the zip file, is it the same you gave us in the past?
Yeah, this is the same. It's the same zip.
I don't think so because in mine it should be mol.zip, not main.zip.
Oh, yeah, that is based on, that is because of, is based on how the file is uploaded into your GitHub.
Oh, can you click on the mol.zip file and download the file as raw? Yeah, and click on raw. Click on raw, yeah, and download it. Like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, right click on raw and download it as a link.
Download it as a link. Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. Copy.
Yeah.
Link address. All right.
And use that link.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if it's different.
It's different.
Oh, it's different. You're right. Yeah, that's probably the issue. I just actually learned something new. Why is there two separate? Oh, I see. I see what you're. I see. That's a silly mistake on my end. This is the mistake I'm making. I have my repository, right? And I am using the download link for the repository instead of using this download link.
Okay.
So to just download this file. So let me test that and see if that works. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to launch another EC2 instance.
We should celebrate if that works.
What'd you say?
You might need to
celebrate.
change some of the comments like this to the zip mode.
I just named this something. Well, you guys saw that I look like a rookie today, so.
Oh no! I mean, I've been working in tech, and I've made many mistakes. I do the same thing. I'm trying to backtrack when I make a mistake. It'd be the easiest mistake, but oh, that's what I did wrong.
Yeah. So
that's a part of tech.
Exactly. So I'm glad like I get to do it in front of you guys, and you guys is like sometimes, I do make mistakes a lot.
Sometimes one of your team members would catch the mistake.
Yeah. So that is part of it, which is why I always tell you guys, don't be afraid to go ahead.
I mean, on zip file, it should not be zip anymore. It should be more than zip.
Yeah, I think you need to remove the unzip main.zip.
It should be.
Yeah.
It should be more than zip.
Oh, okay. Oh, I
because
see.
now you got to unzip. You got to take a
Well, you guys are learning. Thank you. See, that's exactly what I want you guys to be able to spot those out. Thank you. So that lets me know that you understand the commands you're running, because what I'm always afraid of is when I provide the commands to you, for you guys, you run it, but you don't really fully understand what it, but for you to just be able to look at it.
But some of us that's already working in tech, we already run a lot of these commands in our job. Like, like I work PowerShell, so I'm familiar with Linux and some of the commands and stuff.
You might need to do the command again before you put in the user data.
What did you say?
I mean, I'm saying you might need to type the command to
run it
before put it on the user data.
Exactly. Right. You mean running it again on the EC2 instance just to, okay. Let me try that here. So I'm going to copy this. So all the ideas you guys have now are all good ideas of how to like troubleshoot. So ls here, I'm going to remove this rf main. Then I'm going to ls, nothing is in there. I'm going to run my wget command again. ls mode.zip. So unzip. And let's see. This is what I was expecting.
There we go. It's there.
This is what I was expecting the first time, but I guess I was using the wrong So now it needs to be, so fixing my command, it needs to be, I don't need this. Then I need to EWD. So I need this. See. So here, this needs to be this. And there you go. Then I don't need this, right? And that's the command. Because
it should be more.zip, not main.zip.
Yeah, more. Yeah, thank you. More.zip, more main. So basically what I'm saying here, more main and more zip. Yeah. So, okay, download it, unzip the more.zip.
Copy it, remove the mozip.
Yeah, and so this is it. Fingers crossed. So yeah, paste it here and launch.
Well, once you check it, the website, and see if it's in the files is in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys know that GitHub recently changed their code view to like this. In the previous one, you used to, because all my previous commands are based on the previous one where I had a habit of just copying it from here, doing this. But now in the new code view, you can just download the raw files for like whatever zip folder you have there, which is this one. Let me close this. So it's this one. Let me try it and see.
AWS did some updates too, because I couldn't find certain things with the other one when I was doing the static site. I don't even have to use PuTTY to SSH into my stuff. I can actually just run it from PowerShell since I'm on Windows 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a good sign, because if I can access my site now, it's probably because it's still installing. Well, it's still doing the same thing. Well, I give up.
Aziz.
Yeah.
I actually tried this and I took a different approach.
Okay.
And I work with Elise and Mr. Biodun to get this done.
Okay.
Actually, after trying all these things that you've tried and we still couldn't get result, we decided to go to Visual Studio Code and copy the raw code. You know, we copied it and we save it with the extension, like a script.js. We save that. We just copy and paste. That's the raw code. And then, yeah, we clone. And that's what we did. Actually,
okay.
Yeah, and that worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
so
using the git clone as is, so that's what we did.
Yeah, so that would
and Edgar as well. Yeah. Sorry.
So
I use the main code. Okay.
Yeah, so you guys just cloned it to your computer and you use the git clone and you just did use that, right?
Yes. Instead of using the widgets, we use git clone.
Okay. Yeah, that will work. It might be a change they just make, because up to now I used to be able to use the wget. So I don't know what's going on here, but I'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Not to waste anybody's time, but I'm glad this happened. Now I have an assignment. I'll be doing this first task with you guys. And so next week I'll present whatever steps I used to resolve this issue, because this is new to me. I'm not sure why this isn't working. Anyway, but the main thing is there's someone, if there's anyone here that I haven't added to the group, please let me know so I can add you to the group, assign you to a group. But for your group, I need a general email for your group so I can add you to the Jira board. Then you guys will come here and create your task. You guys will come here and create your issue. Once you've created your issue, you can just kind of like use that as a practice to learn how to just move through the Jira board from to do to done. So everything you guys are working on throughout the week, once you are ready for your work to be reviewed, put it in review state. I'll review it, and then from there you can move it to done. So the takeaway from today's thing, without the whole troubleshooting issue, is create an email for your team, send the email to me, create your story in Jira. Once I've added you guys, then just come in here, just try to familiarize yourself with what's going on, because this is either your company will be using Jira or they'll be using Microsoft Teams as like a Jira board too. So your company will most likely be using either of the two, but Jira is very popular.
Yeah, so I don't think I was added to a group. I'm not sure, because I had to work last 2 weekends. So
okay, yeah. So last week based on who was here, we picked the group. If you are not in a group, send your name to me and I would add you to a group.
On Slack? You want me to send it to Slack?
Yes,
right?
send it to me on Slack. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
And another thing, there's one thing I want to mention before you guys go. Just give me 1 minute, please. Elio did complete this assignment, which I'm probably going to, I did glance through his work, and this is what he submitted. Remember when I started this work earlier in the beginning of class, and I was writing down my notes, documenting the steps, this is what he submitted. And I was very impressed by this. So he just had a detailed instruction of what the task was, and the first task and the steps he used to complete it. So here he has pretty much what he needed to do, which is step by step. If there is any additional thing he needs to create, the commands he ran, and is this EC2 console, screenshots, and the website. So he did that for task 1 and task 2. Certainly, if you guys want to understand exactly what you are doing, if you can follow your own method of documenting things, but I just want to point on, don't underestimate the power of trying to document what you are doing here. Just like, if you guys notice, it's kind of like something similar that I was doing when I was running the commands manually before I create my script. So this is how I want you guys to think. Then if you are able, I'm not even going to say if, I want you to kind of like hold you guys to be hard on you guys a little bit to think along the lines of completing your work like this. Because if you have something like this, you can even turn it into a Medium post or whatever form is out there where you can post stuff on it, which will also give you more traction on LinkedIn. By writing Medium posts, sharing it on your LinkedIn, it will help you reach more people that way. So there's like so many ways you can do your work to get the type of results you want. So I just want to say thank you to Elio for completing his work like this. I was very impressed with this. So this is an idea for you guys too, when you are working on your tasks, if something you want to do, because you can easily turn this into a Medium post. And that would also help you gain more traction on LinkedIn. So that's what I wanted to say. But that is it for class today. Do you guys have any questions before we leave?
Hey, Ashish, Edgar. So we have like 2 Edgar in our group, Edgar Jose and then Edgar David, just to let you know.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I think, you're right. You're right.
Grace added the Edgar Jose, so that's why like there are 2 Edgar. Oh,
so are you in a group, Edgar?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, so the other Edgar is the one that is not in the group. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who I added. I'll check. Don't worry. I'll check.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't realize that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. That is it for today. I will also be completing the assignment, and whatever I use to fix the issue, I'll let you guys know. If you guys, whatever method you guys have used and you are able to see your website at the end, is fine. You don't have to do it the same way I'm doing it, but just take your time, follow the same concept of documenting, make sure you understand everything from the ground. Ask you to present your project, you should be able to explain every command you have on your script and tell me what your commands are doing. And I even really appreciate the fact that you guys can look at my command and say, oh, you don't need that anymore. that lets me know you understand it. So we are doing the right thing here. Thank you. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Aziz, when you are free, please upload this meeting so we can review it. It's very valuable. Thank you so much.
Do you guys want me to include the troubleshooting part in there or just cut that part out? Because I don't want to waste you guys' time with.
Oh, please include it.
No,
Thank
please,
you.
everything.
Please include it. Include it. It's important.
That's the bread and butter. That's the bread and
It is.
butter.
It is.
Exactly.
So that way, when we have struggles, I cannot tell you how much I
Go
admire.
back and review it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Please.
Yeah.
All right. I will include it. I will include it. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good
Thank
weekend.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.